just to introduce myself again, I'm founder of Visionary Sessions and the Visionary Guide. I guide visionaries to gain clarity on their vision for humanity, tell an inspiring story, and engage the awakened leadership skills required to lead a global movement. What I'm going to talk about, which nicely follows on from Jeff, is once you've gotten clear on what your calling is, and it doesn't mean like 100% clear on every detail, but it's more that you have clarity as to what to do next. So it could just be the next step, or it could be clarity on a vision, which could be part of a larger vision, but it's a vision enough to actually gain clarity and move forward. And I'm going to give you an example, a real life business recent example, and also a process that I used, which came to me in real time, just by listening and tuning in of how I applied it to the business. So, as I mentioned before, that the calling, or the callings, whether it's a project or to move forward with something, they can come in many different ways. So they can come as a download, so you can just like bang and get all the information at once. It can also come through years of work, kind of sounds a bit like Jeff's journey. And it can also come through an inner knowing. And I also do, my background's marketing, so I do intuitive clarity sessions with businesses where we actually use intuition and tuning into the higher intelligence of an organization to work out and gain insights on what the actual vision is. So there's many different processes and ways in order to get the calling or a calling. And I'm going to give you an example of what came through to me a few months ago in March, which was the download to create Visionary Sessions. So I'm going to walk you through how that happened, what I did, what the outcome is thus far, and I've also got a model to show you. So I will mention, I like to talk about a vision for humanity. So to me, a vision for humanity is really about seeing an improved version of humanity and a pathway and a structure to get there. So you could say, I see X, achieving X through X. So my vision is seeing a new wave of leaders creating evolutionary impact on the planet through operating in more awakened ways. So that's the vision that I hold. And there's many different ways that I personally contribute to carrying out that vision. So part of it is doing the storytelling and the marketing and the intuitive clarity work. And another part came through as Visionary Sessions. So it relates to my overall vision for humanity. And then within the overall vision, there's also the vision of Visionary Sessions. So lots of use of the word vision here, but obviously there's a reason for that. And I will say that a vision doesn't need to be based just on sight or seeing. So a vision can be feeling, it can be knowing, it can be hearing. So it's engaging all of the intuitive senses that we have: feeling, seeing, knowing, hearing. And it can either come in one of those forms more than the other. So in my case, being clairaudient, I heard my download. And then after hearing it, I could see it a little bit, and then I feel it. So your vision could be mostly about feeling. So what happened was, I'm a road cyclist, so I like to get on my bike for hours at a time and connect with nature and just be present, which is often when downloads can come to us, not when we're forcing them. So I got a download that was a business idea and a structure and the name Visionary Sessions. And at first I was like, wow, that's a really good idea to have online events. So we're not limited by location, and events where everyone gets to contribute and you don't just listen to someone speak and then you don't get to actually express your wisdom and vision to the conversation. I'm like, that's a really good solution. And then I thought to myself, well, great, someone else can do that because I'm focused on something else. And then the download came again. So I realized that it was coming to me. So I spoke with a few trusted advisors, one of them being Jeff, and somebody else, and they actually felt into it and said, I see this being really important and really big, and I encourage you to go ahead with it. So I did. And I'm going to talk about the formula that I used. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so can everybody see the slide of the vision movement? Okay, so we're going to start at the outside edge of the golden circle, we can call it. The reason it's a circle is because everything is happening simultaneously and all contained within the same energy. So instead of having like a linear pathway, which you would have to go up and down, this is all encompassing, all containing. So that's why I made it a circle. So I'll just walk you through. And just keep in mind that even though I'm a marketer and I've got a lot of proven structures and strategies, when this came through, I really felt that a more feminine approach was needed to implement it, meaning feeling in, creating space, surrendering, and from that space, gaining insights and knowing how to move forward. So on the outside edge, we've got the divine dialogue and sourcing. So that's, I received the download, and it's not about receiving the download once, it's about keeping in regular connection and communication with the download. Jeff calls it sourcing. You could say, that you're connecting to your higher self, to God, whatever it is, you're connecting to and receiving this vision from a higher source, higher than, we'll say, your intellect, okay? Because it's something that benefits all of the collective. So usually it's coming from beyond the intellect. So you connect to that. So, okay, I'm telling you from my point of view. So I connected to that. And then the second vital step is to hold a vision and embody the energy of it. So this golden circle, I've put embodiment. So when you're leading a vision or a movement, these are two things that need to be happening all the time, constantly, continually. Embodiment is key. So people often ask me as a marketer, they say, how do you attract the right people? How do you attract customers? How do you tell the story? And I always say the same thing, that you need to hold a vision and embody the energy of it. And that's how you're going to attract everything. And that is the purple circle in the middle, which is the receiving. So as soon as you turn off the light, so in this case, like the golden light dims or goes down, then everything in the middle is going to fall apart. So it's really vital to keep the connection of the dialogue going and to always be holding the vision and embodying the energy. And I like to say the visionaries that you hold the vision and you hold the vision without even proof in this current time that the vision is going to come into place. So you could have the opposite happening where everything's falling apart, that is telling you the opposite to your vision. But you do not stop holding the vision, okay? That's not what visionaries do. They're clear, they're strong, and they have this sense of knowing. They don't need proof around their vision because the sense of knowing is stronger and takes over. And the second part of this, which is really important, is the embodiment. So that means that you're actually bringing this vision, which is usually of a state in the future, your embodiment brings it into the present moment. So whatever you're seeing and feeling, you become, you are it. Okay, so you're doing it, you're being it, you're saying it now. So people actually have an experience of your vision right now, just by hearing your words, feeling your energy. So that's what I did. I engaged in the dialogue with visionary sessions, and I wrote down who visionary sessions is for, what the structure is, the payment model, the title of the talks, how long the talks went for, everything, right? I engaged in conversation. I wrote it all on a Word document. And then within 3 days, because I'm also a designer, I was able to build the whole website that told the story. You know, I was able to curate speakers for the first series, and everything was up there. Now, what happened was I had a goal to get around 35 people live to the Zoom calls, so that way we could have breakout room discussions. I didn't do any paid advertising because I wanted it to be the right energy. So I was able to get in the first 3 sessions, 30 people coming to the live Zoom calls from across the world. So the US, people staying up in Europe at 1 at 3 a.m. every week were coming, and Australia and Asia. And that happened, I feel, because people, obviously, you know, were attracted to the speakers, and that was part of it. But I also felt that they were able to look at the words which told the story on the website, and they could feel the energy of it. Because if we look at the action part, the green part, because I showed up in service, so I didn't make it about me, okay? I didn't even have my name on Visionary Sessions as the founder, which actually probably need to change now. So I just showed up in service, like, you know, I'm bringing this to the world. I feel that it came to me for a reason. And then you let go of expectations and attachments. So we're very conditioned to, I'm going to do this because I'm going to get that, okay, approach. So giving to get. So if you release that and you just say, I'm given guidance, this feels in resonance, it aligns to my vision, I'm showing up in service, not ego, then the expectations and attachments don't even come up, because that's more based on, you know, individual gains or like expectations, you know, when it comes to the old way of marketing, we will say. So that's really important, that while you're engaging in the dialogue and the sourcing, while you're holding the vision and you're embodying the energy, and then you're taking the action while showing up in service and releasing expectations, then you're automatically creating an energetic web or network, we could say, of receiving. So you're attracting in those that resonate, and then your vision and movement is actually taking form and shape. Okay, so it's like a living, breathing energy that is coming back towards you. So we could say that the gold and the green is like outward energy, and then the purple is inward energy. So that is essentially the model that I followed, and the results of the community. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now. Through following that model, I was able to create this community where people were able to say that they felt that a safe space was created. People were showing up every week. At the end of the same people, at the end of 3 sessions, we needed to continue on, and I didn't have any speakers curated, so we ended up doing play sessions, which were repeated shorter sessions of the first 3 sessions, so the same speakers could come back. And we still had around 27, you know, over 20 people coming to all of them. So all of a sudden, so quickly, this community was built where people felt resonant, where they felt welcomed, where they felt safe, where they could express, where they made comments that they don't know any other community that is like that, and they're part of many online communities. So I'm not saying this to boast about me, but it's more the fact that I showed up in service, that I released attachments and expectations, and I just kept holding that vision and that energy of what the community and what the platform was meant to be. And I stayed in regular communication with it. That's how I was able to attract co-creators, advisors, people participating, coming forward, wanting to add their contribution to the community. And that's also how I continue to move forward. So from that space, I was able to tune into Series 2.0, which is starting in 2 weeks from now. And I was able to curate the theme, which is Awaken Leadership, and also the 5 presenters. And it all came together really beautifully. And I have to say that if I just used my mind or like my marketing background and came from this need energy or this having to prove or ego or made it anything to do with me, it wouldn't have been created in the same way. So thank you everybody for listening to that and to my story.